Well, hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Midwest Whitetail. Today marks our second show of the fall series, and we're very excited to bring you this one. First and foremost, if you have been following along on the social platforms, you've probably already seen that Bella and Mike Reed were able to get it done yet again on another great buck in the Iowa youth season. So check the back half of this show, catch that entire hunt. And then if you're a bow hunter in the Midwest, and either specifically Iowa or Illinois, you're probably very excited for tomorrow, which is officially the opener of the 2024 archery seasons. And you pair that with this weather that we've got coming in today, there's a lot to be excited about. And so that's what we're going to jump to first in this episode. We're going to join Owen Reigler, who's going to walk us through his opinion, how aggressive to get. He's going to offer some different scenarios to consider. And then ultimately, he'll give us an update on what his opening day plans are. And after talking to him, I'm very excited to see how that unfolds. From there, we're actually going to join Nolan Redeker in Kansas. He's going to give us an update on an awesome buck that's shown up for him. And then following that, we're going to dive into a little bit more about this buck that I call 6x5, and then cover the opening day plans for myself too. But very, very exciting times. The last thing before we get to the show that I want to cover is some updates on the Chasing November winter giveaways. We've been able to contact mostly everybody, but there's still a few that remain unclaimed, and we are officially, with those prizes, going to announce a new winner. We have commented with all of these folks, but if you are watching this and you hear your name called, please reach out to us on either Instagram or Facebook, and let's go from there. So episode 1, the new winner of the Hoyt bow is going to be at Chasing Wisconsin. Episode 2, which is the Mystery Ranch winner, was at Hunter 55446. Episode 5, Lacrosse Boots Package, that is now at Shots by Shopes, SHOTSBYSHOPES. I apologize if I ruined or botched that name. And then next, episode 11 was the Serious Archery winner, which is at Dan Austin 5777. And then finally, episode 12, which is the Realtree gift card, is Brent Barnett Hunting. So appreciate you guys again for following along with the Chasing November series. I appreciate everybody who entered the giveaways. But without further ado, let's join Owen now for his opening day update. And if you're going to be hitting the woods over the next few days, best of luck, and really just best of luck this entire season. We hope to have you guys follow along, and be sure to let us know in the comments how your seasons are going. Let's get with Owen and see what he's up to.
Well guys, like Josh said, it's hard to believe it's opening day tomorrow already. You know, I just got back from Kansas. We had a good trip out there. If you guys want to go check out my farms, first time we were out and seeing it and kind of saw what we had, the work we need to do, that is on the Chase. So if you go to the main channel, each one of us guys will have a video that'll drop once a week on the Chase. So if you want to check out the Kansas farm, my last video on the Chase is right there, so you can find it right there. But you know, now is a time of change for these deer. There's a lot of shuffling going on, a lot of crops are coming out, a lot of different things are happening that are changing up to, you know, where the deer are at. You know, the bucks in particular are changing cover early in the year. They're in more sparse cover. I suppose that velvet's probably very sensitive, so they don't go into the thick, nasty stuff that time of year. But now they're starting to transition to that. Of course, I try to do a lot of things to keep them on my farm all year, you know, planting different food sources that they would be on in the summer. I don't necessarily love when they leave and then you're hoping they come back, and when do they return? Are they still, you know, when youth season opens, are they still somewhere else? You don't know. So I try to do everything I can to keep them, you know, right where they're at. But that's not always a possibility. If you're hunting a small acreage, they're going to leave and you're just hoping they come back, you know. Right now they're shifting a lot because corn's coming out, so they're losing a lot of cover. You know, food sources are changing a lot. The beans have defoliated for the most part, you know, unless they're late planted. Acorns are dropping, so all these food sources are changing, cover is changing. So I've got new bucks and does. I mean, I know there's does showing up too, because there's, you know, maybe a place there's been 2 or 3 deer all along, and then, you know, now you're starting to see groups of 4, 5, 6 does maybe. So there are a lot of deer showing up every day, different bucks. So hopefully something really good shows up down there in Kansas. I'd be very excited to go down there, spot and stalk, or see what we can get set up for a tree stand. But So anyway, I was posed this question: should you take a shot opening day, opening few days, or play it safe and don't hunt? There's, so many factors that go into that. I guess each guy's got to decide for himself, why he's hunting. First of all, that's what comes to mind for me. Because you got to take into account, some of us just want to be out there for the therapy value of just going hunting. So there's, something to be said for going out opening day and just being out there, get away from the concrete jungle. So I'm not even going to talk about that side of it. I would go hunting just for that reason alone. But if you're talking about high odds of connecting on your target buck versus, maybe spooking them, there's a lot of things that I look at. One of those is going to be temp differential. I have looked at the forecast for opening day Tuesday, and there is a good temp differential. There's I think it goes from like 81 to 64 from Monday to Tuesday. So that's a good situation. That could very well have mature bucks up and moving there in the evening. Some of the other things you run into, I like a switch in wind direction. If you go from a north wind to a south to a north, vice versa, I think that's another trigger that gets them up and moving. And so you start taking all these factors into account. I like a rising moon in the evening. If you got 2 or 3 of those triggers working for you, I think you should really take a shot at it. Matter of fact, I talked to a friend the other day. He asked me that very thing. Should he stay in Iowa or take a trip to Illinois where they don't have that temp drop coming in just like we do? And I said, with the conditions we got, I would definitely stay one more day here, hunt the opener, and maybe connect. I mean, that's pretty good conditions for the opener. That temp drop, switch in wind direction. Here's the deciding factor for me. Do you have a pretty good bead on a buck? I mean, where he's been feeding. He's feeding maybe the same field every evening or something, even after dark. In a situation like we have for the opener, I don't wait for daylight pictures. If you know that he's feeding in a certain place, I'm just gonna be there and thinking he's gonna daylight because of those conditions. So, there's a lot of different things to think about, why you'd wanna go hunting, why you might not. You might bump your bucks. So take all that stuff into account. Your access, do you have great access to get in and out? If you don't, maybe you just sit and observe, maybe watch the field, see where he walks out or that kind of thing. But for that October 1st, I think you got to be out there. That'd be my recommendation. We're going to do the same. So we'll see how it goes. So have you ever got a deer before? No. Have you ever been deer hunting before? Mm-hmm. Awesome, the first time. This is sweet.
I told his mom, sorry if it gets hooked, but not sorry.
Yeah, sorry, not sorry. First hunt of the year right here. Let's do it. As I alluded to earlier, we are going to take a shot opening day. I think if you're somebody that's got limited days to hunt, say you can only make it out, 1 or 2 days a week or something, I would definitely take the opener off if you're in this Iowa region where we're getting that cool down. I think that day is worth taking off Tuesday, and then it warms back up a few days, then another cool down. So we might only hunt Tuesday, not for sure. And then the deer that I would like to go after, I kind of like to pick the ones that look like they're the king bucks, the bullies in the area. I know I talked to Josh about this a lot too. It's like, I can tell you a buck that'll decoy well. You start looking at how they interact with other deer in your trail cameras. If they're just belligerent, out of control, they hit every scrape, they're aggressive. Every time you see another buck in the picture, with them, they've always got their ears back trying to walk them out of the field. So those are the ones I love to key in on. They're fun to hunt, they're aggressive. That you can usually decoy them, call them, whatever. So that Sticker 8, I think is what we're calling him. He's kind of a tall buck with some kickers, nice heavy bases. That's one buck I think we're gonna go after. So opening day, if we have the right wind direction, we're gonna go after that deer. If not, I know of another nice 10, actually a couple nice 10s in another spot. So I think we got bucks to go after with either wind direction, so looking forward to that. We will definitely see you guys Tuesday.
she is, the old killing tree. If I can get just a little bit farther. Well guys, welcome to the show this week. Per Owen fashion, he's got a big buck and a game plan for him. And if I had to guess, it looks like that plan's gonna come to fruition for him. Learn a lot from Owen just watching the videos and hearing from him. I'm really excited to follow him along this year and see what he can do. But as for me, it's been a couple weeks since you guys have heard from me. Been pretty busy on my own property getting things ready to roll for the fall. I really kind of haven't hunted yet. I'm a little bit different situation from those guys up in Iowa. Season here in Kansas has been open for 2 weeks now, and I just haven't really had a buck to get out and chase quite yet. One thing I haven't said yet is I'm going to go ahead and officially name my property. I'm going to call it the Buck 40. So anytime I refer the Buck 40, I'm talking about my 40 acres that I purchased this past spring in my very first farm, but the previous hunters called it that, and that's something I've been trying to figure out, and I liked that name, so I went with that. My food plot struggled here over the past month and a half. We've had a pretty big drought here in Kansas, so my brassica plots didn't quite make it. So with that said, I went in with a tiller and tilled in some wheat, and we got 3 inches of rain on it this past week, and it's coming on awesome. So finally awesome to get some green going in there. But besides that, I've got my last couple 2 stand locations finalized, and I really got things ready to go on the stand side. And lastly, this past week, I've put new batteries in all my cameras and really got them ready to go, moved to their fall locations, and got them set up and ready. There's several locations that I'm getting a ton of pictures on, and really the buck activity is starting to slowly pick up over the past month. You know, I've gotten some new bucks showing up, and it seems like there's just a slow uptick, which I think will continue in there. So hopefully with that uptick will come a good shooter buck that I can chase this fall. But really fun to just watch the Cuddy Link go to work in there and get some really awesome pictures. That leads me to where I'm at today. Today I came in here to this 10-acre property that I spent my entire season on last year after the Big 9. And if you guys remember back to last year, I was hunting the Big 9. I got permission on this 10-acre piece for the very first time in mid-October. So with that said, I kind of hunted around here in the past, knew the area, but didn't know this piece specifically. So came in here mid-October, hung a stand in a really obvious funnel, and it would have been late October, but Halloween was the hunt that I had a really good luck in here. And on that hunt, the very first buck I saw that day was a buck I named Kirk. And having previous history around this area hunting in the past, I knew exactly what buck that was the moment I saw him. And it's a buck I first encountered clear back in 2020. I would have guessed he would have been a 3-year-old back then. So I think he's a 6 or 7-year-old buck now, and man, he's just a giant. Really excited to chase him this fall. And just, I don't think he's a very consistent buck. I know he calls this area home. I don't think he has a very tight home range. I think he wanders quite a bit. So with that said, I think he'll be a difficult buck to kill. But my hope is him being in here early October and having the intel from late October of him in here last year. I'm hoping this is where he's gonna be at for the next month. So with that said, got the stand hung in the same tree today that I hunted all year last year. Got a good vine scrape at 15 yards down here ready to go, and I kind of moved the camera to where I had it last fall, basically right here in this funnel where all these trails go through. So really excited to hunt this buck. Looking forward, for me, that's going to be my game plan for the next month until I can get some other bucks showing up. And I think this is a spot I can hunt pretty safely. I have really good access coming through from the east, hunted on a west wind, and can get in and out of here really easily. And there are so many acorns falling in here right now. I gotta think that Kirk is in here eating on those acorns, and that's why he's here in October. So I'm gonna hunt him when I can, when the conditions are right, morning or evening. I think this is a really good morning and evening spot. I've had good luck here last year on both those type of sits. Really excited to get in here and hunt that buck. I don't have any cold fronts coming through, but anytime I get a west wind, I'm gonna try to be in here after him. hopefully eating on these acorns. So I'm excited for the next month. October 1st for the guys up in Iowa is just coming here on Tuesday, so it's going to be a really exciting month, and I'm really excited to see the hunt start to flow in and see the guys have some luck. So with that said, it looks like Josh kind of has a similar game plan to me, putting a game plan together on opening day for a big buck on that droptine farm, and just getting some last minute adjustments ready to go. He's still trying to put in a plan and get ready for that big deer, but I know that he's going to be in the game on one of these 2 bucks here pretty soon. So with that said, we'll go ahead and throw it over to him.
So we are at what I call the land bridge. This was a spot that we came across during shed season. And when we came in on the apple tree, the trail was way easier to see. It's so much thicker in here than I expected. Makes sense. It led right across this bridge. This was a mowed path. What I'm hoping to see is if a deer comes through this, will they automatically always go buck or doe? Does that lead them to the apple tree? Because if it does, that tells me that when we're getting droptine looping around like he does, he should in theory be going higher. But while these apples fall, if I look back into September last year, when those apples started to all fall, he was on here like clockwork, and most of those apples are still in the tree. So it's a sweet spot. Evan and I were talking about, it's a pinch on both sides, huge deep ravine, and obviously makes sense why this was put in. So an exciting spot, big buck tracks. I mean, a lot of just traction going through here anyway. But this is what you always look for. It's a tree stand, just a pinch. Good bow shot. You'd have to get in one of the trees on this side, which would be an adventure, but let's get some pictures of them first, and then we'll see what goes from there. We'll remember to put that as a camera. Okay, ready? Let's go to the next spot. All right, well, here it is, main show continuing on here. Hope Owen's having a great hunt. Those bucks that Nolan's got in Kansas there are freaking awesome. Joanne and I just got to the Big Bird farm, and we are going to hang a new mock scrape and 2 new stands that I think are gonna be very, very important. Right now, we're gonna take these vines down. I just got done weed eating a path where you see this camera, the 6x5, they jump this log and then they walk out, but it's a mowed trail now. We're gonna make a mock scrape line along it, and yeah, get 2 stands up in the process. But you know, playing catch up kind of just like Nolan is right there in Kansas with that giant. And the 6x5, he's a buck that has moved in quite surprisingly. Droptine's been a little bit MIA, but right now we are racing against time, so we're gonna get this stuff done. And then following that, I'll explain why I think 6x5 is doing what he's doing, and also provide an update on that big deer. But we're gonna get rolling here. Come across this land bridge and go to the mock scrape right by that tree stand. Joy's been watching some hunting shows back there. What is that? Yeah, just a few. Hey, you're about to have your own, honey. And shooting your bow, and this is your year. This is your year, okay. I think that's good.
Ready? Let's go get those stands. We'll put this one up top. All right, we're gonna get these 2 stands hung up quick. Basically how it sets up is we're gonna use this access through the yard. We're able to sneak into these woods. The beans are to our south, corn's to our west. We made that mock scrape, which will be at about 15, 20 yards. And if it needs adjusting, we can do that, but it's gonna be a good start nonetheless. All right, we're gonna get right up this tree, the path's right in front of us. We got the sticks, got the stands. And so I'm gonna do this as fast as possible. Well, the stands are hung here. Got the safe line up. It's a beautiful spot. It'll be tight quarters, but you can see actually a lot more than I thought you'd be able to. That bedding is off to our west here. We're gonna hunt this on a north wind going back to where we walk in. It should be good. Don't know if it'll be the one opening day, but it's gonna be a good stand nonetheless. We just have to tie this off when we get here next time. But outside of that, hope this is a killing tree. Joey's gonna kill her first deer this year, I guarantee it.
All right, well, yes, hopefully that is in fact a killing tree, but we are now back at the office, and since Joy and I wrapped up there on the Big Bird Farm hanging those 2 stands, to say that things have gotten a little bit crazy in the right direction would be a little bit of an understatement. And while I'm at it, this is Evan Holland. If you guys have been watching The Chase, you know that he is the gentleman that's following me around this year. Unfortunately for him, but he's the intern, part of our 24 class, and he's going to be the one chasing these awesome bucks. But before we get into the newest developments, like I said, I would go into a little bit more of the 6x5. And basically, you know, if you go back to the 2023 season, I just got permission on this farm. There was a couple of bucks that were showing up. You had the droptine deer, you had this 6x5, and then as we got into September, frankly, 6x5 he wasn't even there. So he was a cool deer, just didn't really play much of a factor in my thought process for opening day. And as I have talked about it throughout the off season and going into the summer, I was always under the impression that droptine was the one that, for lack of a better term, moved in, pushed him out, and that was that. But as I look back at it, one of the things, looking at the trail cam history, it really wasn't until the Big 9 from last year, when he moved in, that's when things started to disperse, specifically the 6x5 buck. And, you know, I've kind of talked about it and beating a dead horse at this point, but I really do believe that that deer died sometime last fall. You know, he moved in, was working all the scrapes, doing the things, and then poof, he was gone. We ended up finding the 2 match sets to him in the shed season. And now you fast forward to 2024. And like I alluded to in the episode so far, 6x5's demeanor is just totally different as far as like his established range in the social hierarchy. Scraping on things. I got a super awesome sequence of photos of him there. And frankly, droptine, haven't seen him since I think September 14th. So really excited for that 6x5 buck. Really excited that the droptine deer shows back up. That's a place that Joy is going to be focused on heavily hunting. And, you know, those 2 stands, fingers crossed that they're going to play an important role. If not early, at least as we get into late October and November, I think they're going to be a great stand location. But that leads me to my next update. You know, we've been talking about opening day, taking shots, and as I do, I tend to make stupid decisions that probably are too full of risk. Evan and I are definitely going to be hunting tomorrow, and it's not going to be after the 6x5. We finally got pictures of this big deer, the one with all the drop tines that we've been watching all summer. I was actually just finished putting these stands up, gave him a call. We were covering the plans of the next day. And then, you know, pandemonium hit because, oh my goodness, here he is. And it was just after daylight. There was a north wind that night. It was, you know, I think 40 minutes after daylight. And as you've heard, talked about multiple times now, opening day, huge cold front coming through, high barometric pressure change, the wind change, it's all there. And, you know, at the end of the day, with this new piece where this big deer is on, we don't know if it gets better as it goes and the crops get picked. I think it's going to change our dynamic in the negative favor. And so we're going to go all in, take a shot. And you always hear us talk about entry and exit. I think we're going to be able to get in. Getting out is going to be a tough task. But shoot them and we don't have to worry about it. So wish us luck tomorrow. Hopefully we can join the party with Bella and Mike being tagged out. And without further ado, let's jump to that part of the show. They had a great hunt and kicked off the season in a great way. And couldn't be happier again for you, Bella and Mike. I can't wait to watch this one.
Just heading out to the new piece. Dave's with me now. We're gonna go get this blind set up for this afternoon. I've got the spot picked out for a south-southwest. We got turnips, we got green beans, and then we have a pond. That cool front's got pushed back a day, so it's not gonna hit till tomorrow. So we still have a high of 85 today and a high of 65 tomorrow. So I think hunting near water is a good idea with the temps, and then obviously a good green food source. And I do have a mature buck, a mature 10 point that's been frequenting this spot, so see if we can pull it off.
Hi everybody, this is the first hunt youth season. Just got done shooting the gun. I'm really excited, as I keep saying. That's because I am. It's amazing what I get to do. I'm so lucky to have a dad who takes me hunting. Thank you, Dad.
You're welcome, baby. Your weapon. All right, we're finally all set up, and I really like this setup. We got green beans in front of us, like I mentioned before. I can see the brassicas. We've got the pond behind us. It's 88 degrees or so with a south-southwest wind blowing back towards the truck. That front's coming through tomorrow, so maybe that's just barometric pressure changing. Maybe that'll get them up on their feet, but can't kill them at home, as they say, and it's exciting to be out for the first day. And I mentioned this big mature 10. He's got long beams and kind of shorter tines that wrap in. Bella named him Aries.
He looks angry.
He looks mad, so I think we're gonna stick with Greek and Roman gods on this farm. That kind of is the theme that we came up with. So we're gonna go through and try to pick some names for some of these bucks. But excited to be out on the new property. And Bella's looking to be the first person to take a buck off of this property. That's the 3-year-old. Yeah, that's a pretty looking deer. It's a 10. She blew. Oh, no.
We have about 20 minutes left of the hunt. We just had an encounter with Aries. But we also had a doe. Snorted. Stomped. And they're over it and ran away. It's a little disappointing, but we'll get them eventually.
Yeah, so interesting kind of mixed reactions from the deer on the blind. We had a doe and 2 fawns come to like 10 yards. That 3-year-old, that really pretty buck, was down in the brassicas. He looked up at us a couple times, never did anything. And then after probably 15 minutes, the one we're after came out, and I looked over and there he was. We just were looking through the little lane. We can't see the whole brassica plot. and a big doe came, and she came into the gap and was really staring at the blind, did not like the blind, that she stomped and blew, and all three of them cleared. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm really excited about tomorrow. We got the cold front coming through. As high as 65. It's gonna be raining. We're not gonna be able to come back to this blind because it's a north wind, but here we are. We had a good encounter, and it's pretty exciting.
Day 2 youth season. Maybe we'll get something today. We're going to Mount Olympus again.
That's what we're calling the farm. There it is. Bella's named it Mount Olympus. We're gonna name it Mount Olympus, and its
Mount
biggest
Olympus.
feature is a ditch.
Day 2 of youth season. We're on lake 190 again, and we've named it Mount Olympus. The wind's coming out of the north. We're over clover and beans, and we're after Percy.
Yeah, we moved, right?
Yeah.
Yesterday we had a southwest wind. Today we have a straight north wind. So I moved this blind here a week ago, and these beans have already defoliated. They're brown, full of pods, but I put the overcast blend in here, so there's quite a few big brassica leaves, and we got 3/4 to a whole acre of clover on that end, 80 to 100 yards to the clover, and we got the beans right in front of the blind. So, you excited?
Yeah.
This front came through last night, and so the high today is like 65, and it rained last night. It hasn't really rained much during the day today, but it's overcast and nice and cool. And of course you get that switch from basically a month of straight souths to a north wind, so
It's really nice.
it feels great. It feels way better than it did last night.
We were sweating buckets yesterday.
That's right. So we made a little wager back at the house. We were contemplating if this blind had 3 chairs or 2 chairs. And Rye put his money on 3 chairs, and we did not bring another chair. And so Rye is standing in the back corner.
I am here.
I did offer him to rotate, so we might be rotating if he gets tired. But might as well practice for bow season, right?
I stand all the time in bow season. So
Yeah.
I just don't sit.
We can do it. We can do it. But anyway, this buck Percy, he's a really mature deer. We had him here all summer. Just a big old body on him. So, as I mentioned yesterday, this farm, you know, I haven't purchased a lot of farms that already have a really good age structure on them, but we've got a number of mature deer on this property already. So, it's a good spot to spend some time on, and so we'll see what shows up. There's other bucks that could show up here too, but the main one we're thinking about is Percy. So, see if we have some luck tonight. I think he could potentially be mature. We've been getting pictures of this deer. He's got a big body, doesn't he? Is that Percy? It's not Percy, but it's like Percy's cousin. Do we need to pull it further back? He's good to the Yeah, he is. I think we should leave the barrel sticking out, so slide up. Can you see him pretty well? Yeah. Like behind the shoulder? Yeah. Okay. I don't know. Did you feel solid on him?
Yeah.
We can watch it back.
definitely hit him. It definitely hit him. Definitely hit him. It looks a little bad, though. But it might be perfect. I just don't know. That's where it looks like. You see that dark circle? That's where I think the impact is, which is probably square in the liver, I would guess, but we're gonna find him.
Well, it's about 7:15, so we jumped out of the blind so we didn't have to use the lights in the blind. Bella shot right around 7, and it's kind of funny we didn't know how to react because the deer didn't really react to the shot, so I was like, oh, did she miss? And we looked back at the footage, she definitely hit him. Big mature buck. I've got some pictures of that deer out here. It's not the one we call Percy, but they're pretty similar bucks. I mean, just huge bodied 9-pointers. So this is an unnamed beast, but you ready to go take a look and see if we can find blood?
Yes, sir.
Okay, how you feeling?
I'm feeling a bit jittery because he didn't react, and I might have shot a bit back. I just hope we can find him.
Yeah, we'll definitely find him. I reviewed the footage. It's always hard. These 350 Legends, I mean, they're small caliber. The video, it looks a little back in the video, but you know, it's 85 yards, and when you're trying to see where the fur is rippling, I mean, it's, you know, I've been off on it before when we're looking at the LCD screen, so we're gonna just sneak over there. We got a good bead on where he was standing when she shot, and we got a good bead on where he went over the hill, so we'll go see if we can find any blood. And we'll be conservative. If we can't find much, we'll just back out and come back in the morning. Okay. I'm just gonna put some light on here. There's blood right here. It's pretty dark, but it's blood, nonetheless. I know he did a little zigzag right here.
We followed his blood trail to this path, and we're gonna keep on following blood and hopefully find his body.
Yeah, so it is dark, and there are chunks. I mean, it does look like a liver hit. We've shot deer with this gun and liver before, and it pulverizes it, and they usually die pretty quick. We have steady blood. This is where we lost sight of him, so we're just gonna go a little bit farther. We're not quite to the edge of the timber, and just kind of see what it looks like. I mean, I don't want to push him. We're staying quiet, but we're just gonna see. We've got a good trajectory on him in here now, and what I would do is look high on the vegetation, like where we've been finding it on his left side, where his entry wound was. That's a bean hole.
We tracked him on the mowed lane about 100 yards. The blood was thick in like a couple of places, but then it started to thin out the further that we got. We started seeing little spots farther apart, and then it just disappeared.
Yeah. It's tough, obviously, tracking in grass. And without a steady trail, you know, my inclination is that the shot is back. The blood trail would indicate it's back a little bit, and I don't think he's gone very far, but I don't want to go diving into the brush, you know, just to search for him. We'll come back tomorrow.
In the daylight.
It'll be easier that way. And we don't have to risk jumping him.
It's Monday the 23rd, and we're out here to pick up on the blood trail. We lost it last night, but we have Chancey here now, so hopefully he can find my deer.
Yeah, so we just got back out. Last blood is just over my shoulder down in the mowed lane here. Like she said, we got Rise Dog Chancey. He's a natural at this blood trailing stuff. He's not had formal training, but seems to have a knack for it, so we decided to bring him out before we go tromp around, and hopefully we get in there and he's not too far. I mean, looking back at the footage, it looks square liver. Blood trail looks square liver. These 350 Legends, you know, a lot of times they don't even exit the body, so it goes in, it'll pulverize the liver and they'll bleed out internally. You just don't get a great blood trail. And last night, knowing the shot was back, getting in the taller grass, you know, as the mowed lane ends here, I just didn't want to go tromp around in the timber, so I elected to wait. It's nice and cool today. It was cool overnight. So we're gonna see if we can go find him. So we lost blood right here on this mowed lane last night. This is a big ravine that dumps down into this big creek. And there's a heavy trail that goes down here and a heavy trail that goes down here. So we're basically gonna just walk these two down to the creek, and I bet we find them down in the creek. And we take that trail and take this trail and kind of go down towards the creek. If I was that deer, that's what I would have done. See, this is where the trail comes in. So when they're wounded, they go to water. You know, if they're gut shot. I think I see him. I think I see a body. Down by the creek. Dude, that is a brute. Well, we just got him up to the food plot. You know, as you guys saw, we picked up the trail where we left it off last night. Unfortunately, Chancey wasn't in the mood. And so as I talked it over with Rye, and deer was walking down the mowed lane straight towards the creek. And so I said, look, we'll just each pick a trail. Walked over there and found him. It didn't take us probably, I don't know, 45 minutes or so from the time we parked to lay eyes on him. So when we first got on this property, we talked about that big ravine. So we're on the original 76-acre piece that I bought at auction earlier in the spring. Saturday night we hunted on the newer side, but last night we came back onto the original side, and we talked about that big ravine being kind of a key area. And just as I thought where they would come from, he came out of there and ran back into there, and that's where we recovered him down on that creek bottom. So the setup worked, the plan came together really on both sets, Saturday and Sunday. We're gonna go back, you know, look at things. We're gonna keep studying. We're gonna shoot the gun some more, try to just keep honing the skills. I mean, a lot of times you do fine. We're not exactly sure what happened, but it did happen. At least we were able to come out here and find him today, and we're gonna press on.
I'm really happy.
Big body on him.
Yeah, seriously, like his neck, it's like
massive
crazy.
For September 22nd. And first buck off the new property.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It is.
You know, I'm super proud of Bella. I mean, she's here for it from start to finish, doing the work, preparing the farms. This is one to, you know, keep in our minds and remember moving forward and try to do better next time. But she's always growing as a hunter, and I can't ask much more than that. So, and it's always special to spend time in the woods. I mean, we have so much fun in the blind, and it's really special to me as a father. You know, I mean, years ago before I even had kids, I always dreamed about the day that I could do this with my kids, and Bella's exceeding my expectations. I mean, her sort of passion for being out here and loving it, and we just have a lot of good time together. And we're super excited to get him recovered and moving forward. You know, all the kids have youth tags, and we're gonna see. We've got 2 more weekends of youth, but we'll be spending some more time out in the woods, and then looking forward to October 1st. Yeah. So yeah, and Bella's gonna be bow hunting this year. We got her a bow tag, so that's gonna be one of the more exciting aspects of this deer season. As always, we really appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you guys next week.
That's him, that's Gator Jr. A little dog wants in there, it's okay.